Hey everyone, Jeff Brahma with the AARP Fraud Watch Network. Thank you for joining us today for another Facebook Live. Today we're going to talk about a whole range of scams and resources available to help fight against them. Today I'm joined by Bridget Small from the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC. Bridget, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And I'm also joined by Lisa Schifferle with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I know that each of you wanted to make a little introductory statement to get kick-started, so Bridget, I'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Bridget Small with the Federal Trade Commission, and I want to say as a federal employee that the comments I make today are my own. They don't represent the views of the commission or any of the individual commissioners.
Great. Thanks, Bridget. Lisa, you as well?
Yes, thanks everyone. My name's Lisa Schifferle, and I'm a senior policy analyst in the Office for Older Americans at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And as a federal employee as well, I have to give a similar disclaimer, which is that anything I say is my opinion and not necessarily the opinion of the CFPB.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for both joining us today. I think it's going to be a really good conversation. I think that every one of these we've done in recent months, I feel obligated to really start with the biggest issue that we've all dealt with over the last year plus, and that's the issue of COVID-19 scams. I wanted to start with you, Bridget, first. What kind of scams are you seeing as it relates to COVID and COVID-19 affecting older Americans, especially as we enter Older Americans Month?
Well, there are a couple of things going on right now I can point to. One is, with more people getting vaccinated now, there are scams emerging related to a vaccine lottery. There have been some emails and texts going out, unexpected, unwanted emails and texts. If you get one of these, it might look like a survey about the vaccine. If you get anything that looks like a survey, it may ask for your credit card or your bank account number, and they say, hey, we want to give you a free reward. Now, if you get one of those, don't click on the links, don't open the attachments. That could install malware on your device. It may come with a telephone number and say, call here, give us your credit card number. We want to offer you a free reward. Don't engage with that. There are no real surveys giving prizes or allowing you to buy something related to the vaccine. There's no such lottery or giveaway. That's one thing we're seeing. And another thing we want to do is remind people, a lot of people have been vaccinated. Everybody, now knows you don't want to put that vaccine card information on social media. But we continue to get more people getting vaccinated, new age groups, additional people. And for those of us that now know, hey, don't put your vaccine card on social media, remind those other people around you, don't put your social media, don't put your card on social media. To some of the younger people who may not got the warning yet. Just good to give a reminder that information should not be shared.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think that it goes double for parents now, that they should be enforcing that among their kids who are going to be starting to get vaccinated potentially as soon as tomorrow, and maybe want to share it on Instagram. So, folks, by the way, before we, sorry, go ahead, Bridget.
Yeah, just tell the kids, don't do it.
No, absolutely. If you have any questions, folks, around the content that we're talking about today, feel free and ask it right in the comments field below this video, and we'll try to get to them as we go along. Lisa, I wanted to kick it over to you. What are you hearing related to COVID or COVID-19 scams, or any scams that are sort of emerging right now during the current pandemic?
Sure. Well, just to add to the ones that Bridget already described, there are some government imposter scams. Earlier in the pandemic, those were more related to unemployment insurance or getting your EIP or stimulus payment. But right now, the new twist is people are pretending to be from FEMA, or the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And right now, FEMA does have a legitimate program which will offer up to $9,000 for COVID-related funeral expenses. But scammers have really hit an all-time low with this one, and they're pretending to be FEMA and preying on people who are trying to pay for funerals for their loved ones. So the big things to know are, like Bridget said, don't give personal information or money to someone who calls you out of the blue. And if you want to find out if you qualify for these FEMA funeral expenses, then you can apply for benefits by contacting FEMA toll-free at 844-684-6333. That's 844-684-6333. And then another scam I want to tell people about our mortgage relief scams. Right now, we know a lot of people are having trouble paying their mortgage and their rent due to the pandemic and due to a lot of the financial strains of the pandemic. The most important thing to remember is never pay up front to someone who says they can stop a foreclosure. That's illegal for them to charge you those upfront fees, and that's a red flag of a scam. You can also look for other red flags, like if the company guarantees it's going to get the terms of your mortgage changed, or if they guarantee that you won't lose your home, or if they tell you to send your payment to someone other than your mortgage company, or tell you to stop paying your mortgage. Those are all red flags. So instead, consider a HUD certified housing counselor. And also, we have a ton of information at consumerfinance.gov/housing about what sort of housing options you have during the pandemic, including mortgage relief in terms of foreclosure, moratoria, forbearance options. And if you're a renter, it covers rental protections and subsidies for renters. So please check that out at consumerfinance.gov/housing. By knowing the real resources, you can help avoid the scams.
Thanks, Lisa. Bridget, did you have any resources that you wanted to share that the FTC can offer regarding either COVID-19 scams or really any other kind of scam?
Well, one of the best places to go to get information about the COVID information in general is ftc.gov/coronavirus. That's our central page to go for all information about coronavirus scams and tips, and the most current blogs that we put out with information about financial fraud related to coronavirus, even information for small businesses. About these small business loans. There's information in English and Spanish. It's a good place to go to get the most current information about what's going on.
Great. Thanks. Lisa, I wanted to talk to you. Do you have any additional resources that you can offer regarding maybe more general scam prevention, maybe people who aren't as familiar with CFPB?
Yes, definitely. And thanks for asking. During Older Americans Month, we're really trying to share these resources so that people can make their communities stronger. So in addition to the consumerfinance.gov/housing that I mentioned, we also have a broader coronavirus related site, consumerfinance.gov/coronavirus, which has resources to help people protect and manage their finances during the pandemic. And we have these available in English, Spanish, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, and Tagalog. We also have a lot of videos, so really great, helpful, short pieces that can walk you through things like what's a forbearance and how to be aware of different COVID-related scams. And then more broadly, we have several other scam prevention resources that have been around before the pandemic and continue to be helpful. One of them is called Money Smart for Older Adults, and that's really a train the trainer program. So if you're someone who likes to go out in your community and give presentations at a community center or in your neighborhood, this is a great one for you. It's really designed as plug and play. It has an instructor guide and a resource guide that you can use. So I encourage you to check that out. Again, it's called Money Smart for Older Adults, and it covers all sorts of scams, romance scams, tech support scams, investment scams, a bunch that we discussed today and more. We also have some fraud prevention handouts that were originally designed for Meals on Wheels and meal delivery programs, so that they were originally designed as placemats to go under people's meals, but people love them so much that we made them into handouts and activity sheets, which you can order at consumerfinance.gov/handouts. It's all free shipping and everything. And they just cover a variety of different frauds and scams and help you learn how to recognize them. And then the last one I want to talk about is just our Elder Fraud Prevention and Response Network Guide. If you want to take it a step further and start a network in your community, this gives you the tools to do that. Basically, a network is just a group of different entities in your neighborhood that are working to combat elder financial exploitation. And we have a guide that will help you learn more about how to start a network.
That's
so
great.
You can check those all out at consumerfinance.gov.
Thanks, Lisa. That's great. Bridget, I wanted to ask you about the Pass It On program, because I think that's a really great program that I know a little bit about, and I'd love for our listeners to learn about.
Sure. One of the things about the Pass It On program, it came out of the idea that a lot of what we like to do is, talk to each other. We share information, just like we're doing here. We share information. We talk about, what's current, what's top of mind, and pass it on is based on that we talk to each other. People get together, they share tips and information, and it's based on that information that older adults get together, share what they know based on knowledge and their experience. So Pass It On has some online information and print information about 13 scams and frauds that often affect older adults, like grandparent scams and romance scams, unwanted calls that everybody deals with, work at home scams. The information it's online, it's in print, it's all free. People can download it and print it and order bookmarks to share, get together and look at things online in a video call like we're doing here, and talk about what's going on, and then share that information with friends to help, build their community and just remind each other about things that are happening. It gives you a few pointers on what the scam looks like, what to do if this happens to you, and then how to report it and help each other guard against that. And that we really encourage people to do that in groups. If you're starting to have social groups meeting again, order it to give things to, leave at the library or the grocery store. If your book group is starting to meet again, you can get that at ftc.gov/passiton. And if you'd like to order things online, we have tons of free print information. A lot of people would rather have that. It's ftc.gov/bulk order. We have all kinds of print information for people to order, not only Pass It On, but things about credit and debt and protecting your personal information. It's all in English and Spanish, and it's free to use and share and distribute. And it's just it's just a digest of the stuff you need, the information you need. The bookmarks are quick and to the point, and it helps you just keep those tips top of mind about the 13, most common scams that people run into, to share and pass on.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that content that really boils it down into very easy to understand and very shareable pieces of information, because that's the kind of stuff you read and you might give it to a friend, or you might just remember the key points and then mention it when you're, with a group. So that's great. Lisa, how about yourself? What kind of other resources does the CFPB have to share to help people protect themselves?
Well, there are two main ones I want to talk about. One is for financial caregivers, and the other is for people who may be dealing with reverse mortgages. So for financial caregivers, we have something called our Managing Someone Else's Money series, and you can find those at consumerfinance.gov/MSEM. And basically, they provide tips and resources to help anyone who's managing someone else's money, including how to identify benefits and how to protect and invest that money for a loved one. They also describe warning signs of financial exploitation. And we have guides for 4 different types of financial caregivers. If you're acting as someone's agent under power of attorney, or their guardian or trustee or government benefit fiduciary, we have guides for each of those. We also have a brand new guide just released this week. It's actually a really short bifold publication called Considering a Financial Caregiver, which lets you understand your options in terms of informal and formal caregivers, as well as how to choose a caregiver. And then, as we mentioned, we do have a bunch of resources on reverse mortgages too, some to help you before you've taken out a reverse mortgage, and others to help you after you've taken out the reverse mortgage. So we hope you'll check those out. You can get all of our resources at consumerfinance.gov/older-Americans.
Very good. Thank you for that, Lisa. Couple comments. Mary Bach, one of our amazing volunteers from the state of Pennsylvania.
Hi, Mary.
Bridget. And Bonnie says, super. She used a play to help educate older adults around fraud, and that's great. I think anything we can do to get this discussion going, and if it can be done in an entertaining way, all the better. So
yeah, we applaud everybody. There's so many creative people that just take this information and share it. It's really wonderful.
Outstanding.
Definitely. There's so many ways to use it. You can use it just for yourself, just reading it, passing it on to someone you know, like Bridget said, passing it on at a book club or in your neighborhood, or even going as so far as to offer a training using Pass It On or Money Smart for older adults, or starting an elder fraud prevention network. So it's great to have you all out there on the ground helping to magnify the efforts that the federal agencies are doing.
Great. Well, we could go on, I suspect, for another 20 minutes. There's so much good information out there, and you've provided so much so far. But I do want to go ahead and wrap us soon. So I wanted to give you each a chance if you had any final closing comments or maybe any final resources you wanted to share. Lisa, we could start with you.
Sure. Just thanks for having me during Older Americans Month. As people may know, the theme of Older Americans Month is communities of strength. So we hope that you'll take these resources and use them to make your community stronger. And again, you can find the CFPB resources all at consumerfinance.gov/olderamericans. And if you want to order print copies, you can go right to consumerfinance.gov/order. So please do check them out and use them in your communities. And happy Older Americans Month.
Thanks, Lisa.
And I'm not going to give you any more information about the resources because I know you're all resourceful. I do want to point out, though, if you spot a scam, please tell us, because the information you give us about the scams that you spot helps us bring cases and stop those scams. So I'm going to give you one more. It's reportfraud.ftc.gov, because that's where we get the reports about what you spot, and that helps us stop the scams. And thank you, Jeff, for putting that up. And that's extremely helpful. And again, happy Older Americans Month. Thank you for everything that you do and all your resourcefulness.
Thank you much. And thank you all for watching today. Thanks for joining us. And I did want to just share one more time before we sign off, to report a scam, or if you believe you've fallen victim to a scam, feel free to call the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877-908-3360. Thanks again for joining us. Have a good day and be safe.